Hello everyone, so today I'm going to react or respond to a video called How to Flirt as an Introvert by the YouTube channel Charisma on Command. Why? Because I feel like it. If you're not familiar with the channel, the main guy in the video, his name is Charlie, but I do have some interesting tea on him. So if you want the tea on Charlie, I'm just kidding. You're gonna have to wait till the end of this video because I will talk about something. I mean, it's more embarrassing for me than for him, but anyway, let's start the video. Also, if this is your first time on my channel, I am an introvert, so yeah.
If you're an introvert, chances are that you find parts of dating very uncomfortable. That's probably because a lot of the advice that you're getting, some of which is on this channel, is geared towards extroverted behavior. So in this video, I want to give you 5 steps that any introvert can use to become a much better flirt, whether you're a guy or a girl. The first tip is for those of you who don't have someone specific in mind. You're still looking. And it's to realize that it's not just bars and clubs, your workplace, your social circle, and online dating that you can actually meet people
online dating
with. In fact, those aren't the best for meeting people that you have really easy chemistry with. I think the best place to go is to an event or an activity that you have a non-romantic interest in all by itself.
I agree with that.
For instance, many years ago, I was a very shy 19-year-old. I was studying abroad in Costa Rica. I didn't date anyone. I lived in Costa Rica for nearly a year, and then I took this salsa dancing class. Lo and behold, the only person I dated was a girl who was in that class with me. And it was because we got paired up. We got to see each other over several weeks. I wasn't very confident, but over the course of weeks, I worked up the nerve to ask her out, and we dated for a few months. So ask yourself, what are you interested in? What activities do you currently do that could be made social
do this.
if only you went out and looked for a place to do it?
It's a good tip, but I haven't really met anyone.
I know a couple of these, and I'll tell you, yoga has been one of them. Acro has a very, very friendly community of people, of both men and women, that tend to be very accepting.
Okay, can I don't know what kind of groups Charlie's in. I used to live in LA, and that's where he lives, but I've done, I've joined groups, I've done a lot of activities, but I've never really met anyone I ended up dating. That was my dog sneezing, so. But I don't know, I've done the aerial silks, volunteering, a bunch of other things that I enjoy. It was either full of other girls, so not gonna date them because I'm into dudes. Or if there were guys, they were there with their girlfriends. So just, I do it because I like the activities, but in theory, it sounds like a good place, but for me, it didn't work. But, Charlie, good luck, Charlie, right? I don't know.
Dog parks. I haven't done it personally. I've heard stories and seen people who meet at
over
dog
5 years.
parks. Dog rescues. If you don't have a dog, but your heart is in the right place, don't use this as some sort of a trick to meet people. Has a lot of wonderful people.
But I got my dog because I love my dog. Okay.
Go to places and do things that you are genuinely interested in to have the person that you might be. For women who are looking for guys, rock climbing gyms, I've heard, very, very good.
I've done rock climbing and I
couldn't
meet anyone.
The second thing is to wear your interest on your chest. Now, I got a very
I enjoyed it.
lesson
it was
in
fun.
this. Around the same time, I got my brother a gift for Christmas. And I'd got him plenty of books. He never read any of them. And I finally got him the shirt that I thought was funny. It said...
Okay, I need to say this because I did do rock climbing, zip line, obstacle course type of stuff. Again, didn't meet any single dudes. I met 2 couples. So I was the 5th wheel.
Around the same time, I got my brother a gift for Christmas. And I'd got him plenty of books. He never read any of them. And I finally got him the shirt that I thought was funny. It said, I heart reading. He didn't like it. He didn't think it was funny. Shirt. He gave it right back to me, so I wore it.
I love reading.
And completely by mistake, it became my favorite article of clothing in my wardrobe because people would walk past me on the street and be like, oh my God, I love that shirt. And on occasion, I was in college at the time, girls would come up to me and start talking to me, and we'd be talking about our favorite books. I'm going, oh my God, this is so awesome. She started the conversation with me. We're right off into talking about books. This is great. Now, since then, I've done this repeatedly. I've got shirts that are Disney themed. I've got Game of Thrones sweaters.
I've worn
and now
shirts
I've
with
actually
things
got
I
a
like
present from Ben coming in the mail that is a Super Smash Brothers
Maybe
shirt.
I'm just
I'll let you guys know
unapproachable.
how that one goes. But the point is, wear your interest on
But I wear
your
them
chest.
because
Those
I
novelty
like
tees
them.
are often the best sort of clothing, at least in my opinion. The third thing comes, now you're in conversation. You've been thrust into conversation at dance class, they're asked you about your shirt. What do you do to get out of that uncomfortable small talk? This can be tough for introverts. Now, I made a video on small talk from Kanye West for introverts, but a very, very easy tip is to do 2 things. First off, open-ended questions are going to be better than closed questions.
Yeah, that's
so if
true.
you're at salsa dancing, a bad question is,
I do
is this your first
interviews, so
time?
I already
A
know
better
this.
open-ended question is, what made you decide that you wanted to come? Right? The first one, short answer, it's done. Now you got to ask them another one. Second one, they can elaborate more. Once they elaborate, now you can relate. So let's say that they say, I'm here because my life was just kind of getting stale. I needed to shake it up a bit, and I'd always wanted to salsa dance.
That is a good tip because that's something I just see a lot of people do. Sometimes they ask the wrong questions. They ask a lot of yes or no questions. So please don't ask yes or no questions because the only responses you're going to get are yes or no from a lot of people. So I learned this from doing a lot of interviews. I have podcasts, I do hosting, I've interviewed for documentaries. Ask open-ended questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Don't ask yes or no questions. Just a tip.
Now, maybe that's not your reason for being there, but you can relate to that value. So perhaps you say, you know what? I actually had the same exact thing last year. I grew up my whole life on the East Coast and I just needed a change.
Yeah, so basically like relate to the other person. Yeah.
If you ask open-ended questions, there's more to relate to.
Yep.
Follow this back and forth and you can quickly get out of small talk into more meaningful conversation. One other little tip, I've done this in the past. If you are on a date and you want to be playful, there's an app, I think it's called 36 Questions. It's supposedly got 36 questions that make people fall in love. I found it fun to play with and also just to pull simple, intriguing questions from that you can ask on
those are some good questions, but you can just look it up online.
Now, the other thing is you're going to want to get this person into an area where you guys can actually talk because group conversations can be difficult if there's a lot of noise. Maybe that's not where you shine. And a very easy way to do this is to just say, hey, I'm really enjoying this conversation, but it's loud here. Do you want to go step outside or over here or wherever it is? This shows leadership, and it also is just something that is going to make it easier for you to connect.
That's true. I will say that's true. And just in my experience, when I'm talking to a guy that I'm into and it's very loud and stuff, I do like it when they're like, hey, you want to go into the side, blah, blah. Because to me, it kind of shows like, okay, maybe he's interested because he wants to kind of make sure he actually listens to me and he hears what I'm saying. So that's awesome. And I feel like you can get into deeper conversations when you can actually hear each other, first of all, and then we're just kind of separate from other people, because I don't really open up when it's like strangers around, because I don't want everyone to hear some things that I might be telling to a certain person. I want them to hear it. I don't really want strangers to hear it. So guys, good tip.
Now, we've arrived, you've had this conversation, maybe you've gone somewhere you guys can chat privately. At some point, you're going to have to cross this bridge from two people who are talking to, guess what? I'm interested. I like you. I'd like to go on a date with you. And this is the part I think that introverts might get wrong. Because in an attempt to not get rejected or to be very polite, they tend not to want to put themselves out there. So they invite these sort of friendly activities that are easily misconstrued, and all of a sudden they feel like they've been friend-zoned when really they've done it to themselves. So a very simple way to ask someone on a date in a way that is both non-needy and confident. This is incredibly attractive to both men and women, by the way. This non-needy confidence is with 3 steps. It goes like this. Say, hey, acknowledge the social situation or the awkwardness that may be there, say what you think about them, and then invite them to something fun. So it goes like this. Hey, I know that we just met tonight, so this is a little bit strange, but I enjoyed dancing with you. Would you like to go out and get drinks sometime? Very simple. You can take this and sub whatever you want. You say, hey, I know we didn't get much of a chance to talk, but I think you're really cute. Would you like to? And then I come back to drinks, because that's an easy thing to do that is obviously a date, but you can, of course, sub in whatever you like.
I do agree with that. I think that's a pretty good way to invite someone. And saying drinks is, I think a good one, because it shows that you're interested in more than just friends. Like if a guy invited me to drinks, I'm going to assume he's probably interested. Whereas if a guy's like, oh, want to go have some coffee or something, I'll be like, I don't know, like maybe they're just being friendly. So if you don't want to be friend zoned, you have to not make it so, confusing to the other person, where they're going to be like, wait, are they asking me as a friend or what? So yeah, I think that's something a lot of people get wrong. It's kind of like he said, they invite people that are interested in to do like a lot of friendly type of activities, and the person assumes that you're just being friendly, so then you get friend zoned. because you don't let the person know. And eventually you have to show some interest, because if the person assumes that you're just friends, like, that's what they're going to assume, and they're going to see you as a friend. So you have to show some kind of interest, or else they're going to be like, oh, we're just friends, might date someone else. And if they don't like you, like, you can just move on. I know it's hard. Trust me, I get rejected. I'm still single, obviously. Like, I've gotten rejected, but it's better to just know, and that way you can move on. And if you want a tip on how to deal with rejection better, something that I started doing, stay tuned.
When you do this, you are making it clear that you are interested romantically. And when you can do that in a both non-needy way, which that line should help you do, having spoken to them with confidence, that is your best shot. Even if it doesn't go well, you're not going to necessarily be in this creepy zone, because you've been clear with your interest and your intentions. And there's not that weird manipulation going on, which is, are we friends, are we not? You got past that. So hopefully those 5 steps have helped you guys. If you want more on those values that I mentioned, that sort of conversational style that gets you out of small talk into the deeper stuff, I wrote an article I'll link to in the corner with the eye, as well as in the description below. But I do have one actually very special announcement, and it is that I am going to be speaking.
Now it's just an announcement of his appearance, but isn't that interesting? We both kind of said the same thing. That you have to show interest, or else they're going to assume you're friends. You may not want to hear it, but it's the truth, okay? I'm just telling you from experience, from people who were not clear, and I thought they were just being friendly when they actually liked me. It's like, well, dude, you never showed any interest. So a tip that I recommend for anyone who has a hard time dealing with rejection and kind of dwells on it a little bit too much, I've definitely gotten a lot better than I was before, when I was younger. Especially like, I think INFP, sometimes we like, it's just like a little bit of rejection. We just like, oh my God, it's like kind of like a bigger deal than other people. But something that has helped me is every time I get rejected, whether it's romantically, like a guy that I'm into isn't into me, or rejected from maybe some opportunity, job, or some other opportunity that I applied for, and they didn't want me. What I do now every time that happens is I do something that I like that makes me feel good. So, but that's not food related. So no food, no food, no alcohol, nothing. Just write a list of things that just make you feel good. They don't have to be necessarily a productive thing, just something that makes you feel good and not food related. Okay. So for example, for me, I love, dancing. I love karaoke. I love painting. I love traveling. So if there's something negative that happens where it's like I said, I don't get a certain career opportunity I wanted, or someone I like doesn't like me back, or maybe I see a negative comment on social media, instead of dwelling on it and feeling bad. I also have anxiety too, so that doesn't help. What I do instead is I just look at the list of things that make me feel good, and I do one of those things. So I know it sounds weird, but it's to kind of help your brain associate maybe like the bad thing, but with a good thing in a way, as my therapist called it, like sublimation. So you're kind of like, you're still acknowledging what happened. You're not in denial of it, but instead of like dwelling on like, oh, how horrible it makes you feel, it's just like, you're not depending on that other person or that other thing to make you feel good. It's like, okay, you didn't want me. Well, I'm going to go make myself feel good. So I'm going to go dance, have my own little dance party. I'm going to book a staycation. I'm going to put some more money in my travel fund. Just anything that makes you feel good, you can do it. And it's going to feel weird. Like, oh yeah, some guy doesn't like me, I'm going to dance, but it takes practice, and then eventually it'll just get a little bit easier. And that way it'll help you get over things a little bit better. Especially, like I said, sometimes like us INFPs, we'll like fall for someone really hard or something, or we don't even know them that well, and we'll just be like, maybe we're soulmates or something, but we don't even know them that well. So then, when they don't like us, we might take it kind of, a little bit harder. But I feel like it has helped me to kind of move on from things a little bit faster. So that's just a tip. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Now, do you want the tea on Charlie? You want it? You know you want it. All right. So the tea on Charlie. Why does that? I did not mean for that to rhyme. I actually do that a lot. If you hang out with me, like I just randomly rhyme without even trying. I'm like an accidental rapper. I don't know. But little story. So like I said before, I used to live in LA and you know where Charlie lives, and I don't like online dating, but I did try it for a little bit. I've tried several of the apps, and every time I join, I'm only on them for probably like a day. And then I leave. I'm like, this feels weird. So I was on this dating website in LA, and, you know, it showed you people that were close to you. And actually, Charlie was on there. I'm not going to say the name of the website, but he was on there and I didn't recognize him right away. I just remember I saw his face and I was like, he looks really familiar. And obviously I thought he was really cute. And then it kind of clicked like, oh, he's that charisma on command guy. And once I kind of remembered who he was, I messaged him, which is something I don't really do. Like I rarely never do that because I'm more traditional. I like the guy kind of approaching me. And also, you don't know if, you know, someone you're messaging is a freaking crazy murderer, psycho, whatever. But with him, because I was already familiar with him on YouTube, even though I didn't recognize him right away, but I kind of knew who he was, basically. I knew, like, I was more comfortable because I was like, I have an idea. He wasn't a complete stranger to me. And I messaged him. I don't really remember what I said, but he wasn't interested. So, and how do I know that he wasn't interested? Because he read my message and he didn't reply. So, yeah. You know, because on that website, it showed you if the person actually read your message. So he read it and he wasn't interested. But it's okay. It's fine. Even though these are good tips that he gave in this video, I have seen some clips of him on like some podcasts of his, and I didn't like some of the things he said. So, you know what, Charlie, it's okay if you weren't interested because I think we're better off. Like, yeah. But that's a little story. It's not really tea on Charlie. I just rhymed again, sorry. It's not really tea on him. It's more embarrassing for me. But that's what I'm telling you guys, see? I do get rejected. I know some people are might not consider that rejection, but it's like, you weren't interested, so for me, it's a rejection. But it's okay. Don't worry. I didn't cry about it or anything. So that's it for the video. I hope you got something out of Charlie's video. I hope you liked my tip. Hopefully that helps you out. Just try it. I know it's going to feel weird, but just give it a shot. And I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to go sip some more tea now. Bye.